All right, the meeting is being recorded. Okay, roll call. Mercy,
Here.
Sarah, Kim Clemens, she'll join shortly. Dean Cutler,
Here.
okay. Andrew Epstein,
Here.
Jeff Hartwick,
Here.
Terry Lewis here. Richard Niedenberg, is Richard on? Okay,
He was.
he was. Okay. Lori Rittenberg
Here.
and Jay Friedman.
Here.
Okay. So we need one additional person on. I think that's 7. If I counted that right. Oh, let's see, Dean. Did I get Dean?
Yes.
Okay. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
I
7.
see that Richard is listed as a participant.
Yeah, he's just not speaking, but he's on. Okay. So Richard is here. All right. So we have a quorum. And what I'll start is a reminder to those attending that you may hear public comment that may be a colorful language that some might find offensive. The Studio City Neighborhood Council has no ability to control or regulate the content of speech that is protected under the First Amendment. Ensure that stakeholders and board members are given the opportunity to be heard. We will be timekeeping per the allocation in the agenda. Okay. First of all, we'll have a quick section on public comment. And I'll start with hands raised.
Jerry, you mean public comment for items that are not
That are not on the agenda, sorry. And I'm sure everyone's coming here for the Riverwalk component. So no show of hands for public comment on non-agenda items. I want to make just 2 quick announcements as we move forward. We have 2 board member positions that are open. One is the business representative position and the residential renter position. We floated these the last meeting, and we will refloat these today for candidates during our regular board meeting later this month. And that information is in the minutes, and it's located in front of you. Next, under the president's report, there are no president's report items, so we're going to skip that section. Vice President report, Jeff?
I just want to say I attended the Land Use Committee meeting last week, and I was very impressed by the stakeholder input and the thoughtful deliberation from the committee. I just want to say kudos to Lori for shepherding that process. And I was very impressed by everything. That's all. Thanks.
With that, I'd like to add of the very important and active stakeholder participants, especially on this call as well, sharing their views, their perspective, their concerns. And I believe we're here to listen further, pay attention to the concerns, and do as much as possible we, as a Studio City Neighborhood Council board, to address what they believe are concerns related to Riverwalk and other items as we move forward. Okay, Dimitri is not on for the corresponding secretary report. Kim Clemens, she's not on, but I'll represent this item for her. There are 3 motions on the treasurer's report we want to go ahead and move forward with because it's time sensitive and cannot wait till the next board meeting this month. It's motion A, which is the Board of Studio City Neighborhood Council approves the expenditures of up to $150 for the printing of blood drive flyers for pink printers to provide and support the American Cross blood drive on Rafford Studios lot, at which the Neighborhood Council will take part in outreach with a table and snacks. I need a second for that.
Second.
All right, thank you. Public comment on that motion? None. Board comment? All right, let's take a vote. Mercy?
Yes.
Kim's not here. Dean?
Yes.
Andrew?
Yes.
Jeff?
Yes.
Jerry? Yes. Richard? Are you not muted? We'll take care of Richard. Lori?
Yes.
And Jay?
Yes.
The motion passes.
Oh, Jerry, Jerry, I am
Matt,
here. It's Casera. And on
and so,
is
so
yes.
it's Matt.
Oh, Matt just joined. Sorry.
Yeah.
Thank you, Matt.
Oh, Jerry, and you got my vote too, right?
Oh, Sarah.
Yes.
I didn't know she joined too. Thank you, Sarah.
Yes, of course.
All right, let's move to the next motion. Motion TRB, the Board of Studio City Neighborhood Council approves the expenditure up to $150 for the purchase of up to 3 blank ink toner cartridges, OEM compatible from the best price online retailer. YB toner suggested approximately $30 each plus tax and delivery for the Neighborhood Council printer, office printer for printing meeting agendas and materials. Second by. Someone second it?
Second.
All right, thank you. Uh, Public comment? None. Board comment? None. A vote? Mercy?
Yes.
Sarah?
Yes.
Dean?
Yes.
Andrew?
Yes.
Jeff?
Yes, but I don't know that Jay can vote because I don't know if he's taking that coursework or not.
That's correct. Okay. Jerry? Yes. Richard? Yes. Richard not voting. Lori?
Yes.
Matt?
Yes.
All right, the motion passes.
It looks
Right.
like Richard was raising his hand.
Okay. Well,
He's muted.
we'll take a raised hand as yes.
Oh, yeah, right. Good point.
Okay. All right, and I'll put that down as yes. All right, the third motion TRC, the Board of Studio City Neighborhood Council approves the expenditure of up to $75 for the purchase of a carton, 10 reams of 500 sheets paper, copy paper for the NC office from Staples or a similar office supply retailer. Second,
Second.
okay. Public comment? None. Board comment? None. Let's go for a vote. Mercy?
Yes.
Sarah?
Yes.
Dean?
Yes.
Andrew?
Yes.
Jeff?
Yes.
Jerry, yes. Richard? Hands up, yes. Lori?
Yes.
Matt?
Yes.
All right, motion passes. All right, so, all
And I'm here. So, and I'm a yes. It's Kim.
right, Kim, thank you. Kim Clemens. All right, thank you. All right, so we have taken care of those items that we had in the middle of at the beginning of the meeting. Now we're up to the land use committee motion. Lori Rittenberg.
Thank you, Jerry. So I just want to just say a few words about the land use committee motion. So just so I don't know how many people who are on today have participated at the 3 land use meetings. Just wanted to make a point that after many, many hours of doing research, some of the land use committee members have been, doing research. 2 of us have participated in, I don't know, at least 3 meetings. I've participated in even a few more. We've met with the developer's consultant, Nicole. We've met with each other, less than a quorum, by the way. We have met with stakeholders, and so we spent a lot of time on this. And we've carefully considered the following. No matter what we ask for, the residences at Sportsman's Development, Harvard Westlake River Park were approved. And Harvard Westlake River Park is nearing completion. We know that there is an appeal in the Court of Appeal on Sportsman's Development. Given the multiple mayor's executive directives and the state mandated affordable projects in our area, including on Moore Park, one of which demolition has begun, and approved projects on Hoffman, Acoma, and others in the area, the stated position of our council member Rahman specific to Sportsman's and other developments in Council District 4, and what we anticipate as her support for this project, giving the developer all of his asks, and who champions these entitlements and waivers for height and mass, the Land Use Committee thought it best to support the project with conditions regarding disaster evacuation and mitigating the cumulative environmental effects of multiple developments. While we would much prefer a project with lower height and density, our experience and judgment tells us that we won't prevail on these points. We feel hitting the important basics as conditions for support will result in the ability to get very important community benefits from the developer, and our position is support with conditions. This is the Land Use Committee's position. The conditions will be entered into the record, and our support will keep the line of dialogue open in the years to come during construction. We know from past experience that blanket opposition will not serve the community and will not sway the Planning Commission or Council District 4. Based upon further discussions with the developer, a walk along the river and residents in the hills, after Jerry reads the motion, public comment, and board discussion, I will propose some amendments to the motion that Jerry's going to read that will hopefully enhance, the request for evacuation safety studies, as well as requests for habitat enhancements along the river to mitigate the environmental effects of the projects. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Lori. Okay, I'll read the motion as presented. Land Use Committee motion LU-A. At this time, the Board of the Studio City Neighborhood Council supports CPC-2025-2697-DB-PR-SPPC MCUP-VHCA and VTT-84453 Riverwalk at Studio City at 12501 through 12665 Ventura Boulevard, provided the following are addressed and corrected by the developer. Number one, review existing studies with Studio City Neighborhood Council and city representatives to take all steps necessary to ensure safe and efficient evacuation due to earthquakes, fires, and other disasters. Examine the cumulative effects of developments at Riverwalk at Studio City, Sportsman's Apartments, Harbor Westlake River Park, and the Sun Sweat project. Prior to completion of the project, place a dedicated right turn lane and traffic signal at first driveway westbound on Ventura Boulevard to avoid congestion from residents and guests entering the facility. Clear directional signage should be placed to ease inflow to the facility and avoid backups on Ventura Boulevard and Whitsett Avenue. 3, require the developer to fund the following community benefits. Details of the SCNC Greenway ask. A, South Bank Whitsett west to the terminus of the Riverwalk site, Sycamores at Riverwalk. This land is immediately adjacent to the Riverwalk property, and the land here can be integrated to feel like a park-like extension of the Riverwalk front door, while at the same time offering significant aesthetic and habitat benefit. There is an existing grove of sycamores that were planted years ago, and they create the tree line visually and define the site. This area needs underplanting with appropriate native shrubs, accessible paths, and seating. Immediately adjacent to the Whitsett is a sloped triangular bed created by the down ramp of the bike path that runs to Coldwater. We would like this area to be planted as a demonstration garden of native black walnut and oaks. This could serve as a teaching facility and, with proper labeling and signage, serve to educate the public of the value of the native oak walnut woodland that surrounds Studio City. C, South Park Whitsett to Laurel Canyon. This is one of the first sites developed along the river. The promise of easy access to the river and access to the village area have never been realized. Maintenance has been long deferred. The area is overgrown and attracts encampments. The encampments have been the site of several nuisance fires over the time and threatens the commercial and surrounding residential areas. The area needs hard pruning, and overgrown invasives must be removed. Lighting is also needed at night. Last year, a pilot program installed solar lights on the bikeway adjacent to the River Park site. These units are highly effective, and SCNC asked Riverwalk to fund the installation of similar lighting on the section of the river Whitsett to Laurel Canyon on the south side. Long plagued by bureaucratic and jurisdictional logjams, a private solution here, even if only to fund the lights, could be the catalyst to moving all these elements forward. Opening this River Greenway would provide additional access to the Studio City Business Village area, and the amenities those businesses offer would enhance the experience of Riverwalk tenants. Other community benefits requested: community room, meeting space, public art integrated into the project that celebrates the local culture and history of Studio City. And below there are links to the Riverwalk project and the other motions that were mentioned at the beginning of this land use motion. All right, so I'll open it up now for the Land Use Committee's leading of public comment. Show of hands, and I will call on you as you raise your hand. If you can't find the area to raise your hand, take yourself off of mute and speak, and we'll. All right, Janine.
Hi there. Jerry, can you tell me this is public comment?
Yes, this is public comment.
Okay, thank you. I'm opposed to the SCNC motion for reasons of no traffic impact studies, no environmental impact on the LA River, no state safety studies of the tremendous increase in traffic that can only be achieved and how that will affect such density at the mouth of the canyon. The canyon is already a major commuter artery with dense traffic at the present time. Coldwater Canyon is also the only major pathway to thousands of residents out of the hills in case of fire. This is a dangerous development as proposed, and I am in opposition. If I have any time, I would also like to note that for this meeting, there was absolutely no information given to the residents of Studio City by the Studio City Neighborhood Council. And I wrote back to the council on June 2nd after the blast came through and asked you to provide information for this meeting, for the CPC meeting, for the public comment for the CPC meeting that was due today as well. And the board did not respond. The board simply sent on June 3rd another blast with exactly the same lack of information. I've had correspondence with Andrew Epstein, with yourself, Jerry, and never was that offered to the residents of Studio City that you guys represent. So that is very disappointing, and one can only surmise, I thought it was a mistake at first, but one can only surmise that it was deliberate. And the question is, why? So with that, I pass.
All right, thank you. Next up is Tim Hyde. Tim?
He's not, he's muted. Okay, no, he's not.
Thank you so much for your work on this. I want to say that I support it all, and I appreciate everything that you've done. And the ideas you have seem reasonable. You don't have to work it out, at least discuss them. The neighborhood council jumped up and down about Harvard Westlake Witsit. Let's keep the cafe in there. Okay. I hope the cafe is going to work out. I hope that works. And if we roll back the clock to 2006, when the neighborhood council, and including me, fought the developer of the Weddington golf course from putting in condos and senior housing and keeping the driving range, we can see that we were wrong, and I was wrong. We need more housing. We need the jobs that it's going to create, and the traffic will be figured out. Darwinism, just like the Hollywood Bowl, there's not enough traffic. Okay, there's not enough parking, so we got the buses. Let's move this thing forward. And if you run a restaurant, you want more people living by. If you run Ultimate Cleaners, you want more people living by. If you run Ralph's, you want more people living by. If you run Side of Or, you want more people living by. The Six, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I live on Goodlands, it's right there. Yeah, it might be an inconvenience, but what's our measuring tape? Is it 1 year, 1 month, 5 years, or is it 100 years? And do we just govern whatever's good for me or what's better for the area? And there's no crystal ball. I didn't say it's perfect by any means, but I think it's a pretty good project. We should be happy that somebody wants to invest that much money and bring housing to the area. Thank you.
Thank you, Tim. Next up is Tony Brazel.
Uh,
Appraisal?
Hello, Tony Braswell here. I'm president
Appraisal.
of Neighborhood Council Valley Village. Just wanted to thank you all for your hard work. I know how many hours are involved in doing this, and on behalf of our Planning and Land Use Committee and our board, we will certainly be happy to support what you all think is best for Studio City. So thank you for your work, and let us know how we can help.
Thank you, Tony. Next is Alex Stakos. Hope I pronounced
Yes,
that right.
yes, guys, can you hear me? Yeah, I would like, similar to the first speaker, to oppose in the most straightforward way your recommendation for approval. I believe this is really harmful for the community. I was actually surprised that you presented the whole context with every single development in the area. You're not really concerned at all about the impact we have in safety exits. I think that's going to be probably it's a bullet to the lives of everybody who lives in that neighborhood. So I'm extremely disappointed as a resident of Studio City over the past 10 years. I'm not necessarily impacted on that corridor because I'm about 300 feet behind the golf course, but I do notice on a very daily basis the traffic on that corridor. And I can't believe that you guys don't even consider, even lightly, the fact that you're going to infuse over 1,500 residents in that area, and you don't expect, like, even an updated traffic study will provide some answers. So I'm personally ashamed for that recommendation, and I hope that we didn't come to that point, and I'll take any action possible going forward to stop this craziness that's happening in Studio City. Thank you.
Thank you, Alex. Next is Adele Slaughter.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Good evening. I'm Adele Slaughter, Studio City stakeholder, speaking tonight in strong opposition to the motion LU-A. This motion is not only inadequate and does not protect our community, but the entire process has been poorly noticed, denying local residents their voice in the process. Public safety provisions in this motion are toothless. Merely asking to review existing traffic studies or examine cumulative effects does nothing to protect lives. We live in a very high fire hazard severity zone. Building massive projects like Riverwalk, Sportsman's, and Sunswept along Ventura Boulevard is a major risk without a mandatory emergency evacuation in plan first. We do not need more examinations of our limited bridges. We need strict density limits that match our evacuation capacity. Also, the motion's environmental conditions are fundamentally flawed. While the nod to native plantings is welcome, asking a private developer to fund night lighting along the Los Angeles River is a direct threat to the river's wildlife. Artificial light pollution disrupts bird migration, bat migration, and local biodiversity. The river is a living ecosystem. Finally, the SCNC should not be bargaining away our safety and our community character for deferred maintenance and a right turn lane. We must demand a full, independent, cumulative impact traffic assessment that specifically accounts for wildfire evacuation times before approval is given. I'm not against development. I'm against unsafe planning. I urge the board to vote no on this flawed motion and send this back to the committee. Thank you.
Thank you, Adele. Next up is Miriam King.
Hi there, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Hi there. Nice to meet you all. I'm one of the appellants on the Studio City Riverwalk. My main concern really is the project impacts on the river, and I think there is too much lighting, and there needs to be more. What do you call it? Parkway instead of just a concrete sidewalk. So, but I'm curious, and I appreciate all your efforts. But I'm curious, I kind of have the same concerns Adele has, which is this motion. So you're going to review the traffic and the evacuation. Is this going to be before or after it gets approved? Because, I mean, you won't have any any leverage after it gets approved. So now is the time to make sure. I'm just curious how that works, and I'm curious how offsite mitigation funding works as well. I'd like to know a little bit more about that. Thank you for your time.
And thank you as well. Okay. Next up is Scott Mandel.
Hi, thank you, Jerry. I just want to add, in addition to the prior speaker, two of the other speakers are also appellants. Perhaps they identified themselves as such, and I missed it. I don't think the SCNC is rubber stamping anything. As Lori stated and others amplified, they spent hours upon hours in perfectly noticed public meetings that were attended by people who live in direct proximity with plenty of adequate time to address the committee with public comment. I think we've all learned from past experiences of the failures of some of the same activists that are here tonight with the same MO, which achieved absolutely nothing and left benefits on the table. So I think a better approach is the SCNC's approach. The appellant's website and their legal appeal are in direct conflict with each other. Well, we just heard that the development proposed is going to be unsafe with fire and all the like. The appellant's website actually has very specific height and unit and density numbers, and I can't see how they came up with those numbers based on any safety concerns. They seem to be just numbers drawn out of a hat, as best I can understand. They've also threatened the board with a mob mentality of removal and such. Yet these are the same people who voted for all of the local, county, state representatives who put in place these exact density incentives that they are now in opposition to. The bit about the lighting on the river, I don't know if you've been down there recently. It's lit up like a Christmas tree. They just put in a ton of solar lights for public safety reasons. And they're going to put the same lights in between Witsit and Laurel. So I think that's a false claim about nocturnal critters. Same thing with your fire damage claims. There's dozens of fully bearded palm trees across the river where the yellow bats live. Those trees will either be torn down or skinned, and there will be no home for the yellow bats regardless. The yellow bats are a red herring, just as the same red herrings from past activism. If you think there's a fire danger, then address the torches that are ready to drop firing embers upon all of these high fire district. And the meeting was noticed fine. One of the appellants tried to cancel tonight's meeting, and Carneys is a landlord-tenant issue. It is not an issue for the SCNC.
All right.
I'll stop now and
Thank
continue
you.
the amendments. Thank you.
Thank you, Scott. All right. Next is Chip Meehan.
Hello, everyone. Chip Meehan. Thanks very much for putting this together. I do know how much work this takes and appreciate all of your volunteer work. It is thankless. I understand the wish for a smaller project. I get it. I agree. I wish the houses that are going up in my neighborhood were smaller, but I can't control that either. This is going to go through. We know this is going to happen. The best bet for mitigation of the existing and new issues that will be brought up by this is to collaborate with the developer. The plan presented is, I think, our best way to move forward and maximize the community benefit. Two, there's a CD4 Wildfire Fair, June 27th. It's on the Studio City neighborhood calendar. It'll be at the Autry Museum from 10 to 2. CD4 is a sponsor. I would recommend that we have a special breakout at that meeting when all the experts are there and have them tell us what they think the plans are for Studio City. Because this is a CD4 issue. This is not a developer issue. And yes, it needs to happen now urgently. And we saw last year when we had the Runyon fire and the same night we had the fire at the end of Witsit that the city is not prepared to get people out. We have to ask those questions with a focus. Last, there are two board openings, and every single committee on the neighborhood council needs more members. There are 24 people here, half of whose names I don't even recognize. you guys should move forward and help the volunteers that are doing the work that's here to do it better if you're concerned. This is not, in my estimation, the worst project that's coming. There's one coming on Sunswept right under the hill. We have to look at that one, and that should have your focus. But you need to show up early, do the work, and focus. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Chip. All right, I don't see any hands up. Let me double check. Okay, and now, yes, oh yes, Jeremy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeremy.
So I'm not a activist. I'm just a resident of the Sunswept Hill area, which is directly across the street from Riverwalk. There's 94 of us who feel the same way as Janine and Adele and Alex. Ultimately, all we're asking for is that a prospective, comprehensive study be done so that we can make sure we're not in a worse situation than we are currently with respect to being able to evacuate from the hill during a fire. I was here when the Sunswept Hill fire started. There was no evacuation notice because it was a surprise fire unrelated to all the other fires. It was very difficult to get off the hill in time. There were many cars who were trying to get out of the canyon, and Ventura was very crowded. There's only one way to find out how the impact of all of the development that's going on right now is going to create issues with respect to being able to evacuate from the hill. We need an environmental impact report before the development starts, or else we're not going to get the information that we need to make sure that we're safe. In the prior land use committee meeting, an environmental impact report was approved. After the committee met with developers, it was removed in the final land use meeting. We feel that's not acceptable.
Jeremy, thank you. And I applaud your comments, and I feel the same way. And you'll hear from the board members during board comment, but that's going to be one of our top priorities, regardless of this Riverwalk project. Harvey, you next. Harvey Myman. Harvey, you need to unmute yourself.
Got it.
There you go.
You hear me now. Thank you. And thank you for your time. I've been to every one of the meetings, and last week's or earlier this week was last week, I'm sorry, a shocking turnaround. The most extraordinary thing that was repeated tonight was, well, we never win these things anyway, so why not give them what they want and see if they'll do a little study. That after a fairly strongly worded position of opposition. And it was just shocking to me that your board representing our community would just say, well, we lose all the time anyway, so let's just give them what they want. Hello.
I can hear you.
Okay. So anyway, that's all I wanted to add to it. I've written my comments and other people have expressed them.
Okay.
Again, I thank you for your time.
All right, thank you. Next up, Jeff, you were going to say something?
You muted, Harvey?
We had one more stakeholder with the hand up, Catherine Cato.
And also Sharon after that.
Okay.
And I haven't figured out how to raise my hand, but I just unmuted, so I'd like to be on the list. This is Michael Scholl.
I got you.
Hi. Hi, this is Catherine. You know, the Riverwalk project is very impressive. It will be a good thing for Studio City. However, I don't understand the no pushback on the height and scale above what they're allowed. I mean, if they ask for 120 feet, are you going to say, oh, okay. I don't understand why why can't you just follow the guidelines? And which is 63 feet. I'd like to see some story poles maybe to erect, see how high 84 feet is. And does the 84 feet include is it up to the parapet, or does it include the rooftop structures for elevators and mechanicals? I looked into the very high fire danger severity zone, and apparently the local hazard mitigation plan was done, updated in 2024, but this was based on old data from 2011 CAL FIRE maps. So the CAL FIRE maps only came out in March of 2025, and they are not reflected in the local hazard mitigation plan, which is evacuation routes, or in the safety element. So responsible policy prohibiting further density in very high fire severity zones should be enacted. And it would be prudent to take into consideration a future update of all safety elements for evacuation routes, their capacity, and their viability. As it is, this development plan makes the area unsafe for our existing communities. The existing evacuation routes and capacity in the local hazard mitigation plan do not reflect the current very high fire danger severity zone, and I implore the board to request a review on this development as though the local hazard mitigation plan were updated.
All right. Thank you, Catherine. Okay. Next is Steve Wolf.
Yes, hi. Steve Wolf, Sunswept Hills Neighborhood Association. I want to also support what Jeremy and Harvey have both said. Our primary concern is the safety. I was also there during the fire and echoed the same concerns that Jeremy had. I want to thank the Land Use Committee and the board for putting these two meetings together. I know it was done very quickly so that we could have information for the Thursday meeting, and we don't take your commitment lightly. However, with that being said, our position is that AB 130 has a stipulation and protection to say that does not apply to areas adjacent to sensitive lands. And this project is completely adjacent to a high fire zone. And we already know that it's a problem, and without an environmental impact study and current studies, we are not going to just throw it to the fire department to say that they will deal with it. We want to have a proactive approach to this so that we can move forward safely and have confidence in going down and supporting these commercial endeavors in our community. We want to be great neighbors, and we want them to do the same. Thank you for your time and for your energy.
Thanks, Steve.
Absolutely.
All right. Did I see someone? Sharon. You have to unmute, please.
Unmute. Sharon, you're muted.
Sharon, I'm gonna try to unmute you. I don't think I can. I can ask.
Unmuted.
Okay.
You muted. Yeah, she's muted. Oh.
You're still muted. You should see something and ask you to unmute.
Go to the next person.
All right, let's do that.
Can you hear me? Because I don't know how to do whatever I'm supposed to do, but I unmuted.
Yes, we can hear you.
But not the board comment. Yeah, who's that?
This is Michael Scholl. I'm also on Sunswept Hill.
Okay, and we'll get back to Sharon. Go ahead, Michael.
Okay, I'll be fairly brief. First of all, I support what my other colleagues on the Sunset Swept Hill organization have stated. I understand you're between a hard rock and a hard place. I understand we're all between a rock and a hard place. But what seems to be the most evident is, even though there are rules that are coming down from the state and that the city seems to be going along with a lot, there is a very viable environmental concern, not just the environmental concern, but the problem with the fire, with the evacuation and emergencies that I believe is more than what has been seen before in terms of what's changed in the last year, as well as all the other development that's happened and already been approved. And so that, as was noted before, the studies that have been done are not necessarily relevant. So even if the city, or even if various organizations might go ahead and go along with this without putting up any argument at all to demand a further environmental study and safety study beyond what already exists, without doing that, we're not putting up any fight that we actually have a leg to stand on. And I think that's the key. We have a leg to stand on to argue differently than what was done for Harvard Westlake, which wasn't going to bring the same kind of traffic that this will on a daily basis. And I think that needs to be addressed and included, and it's a rational fight. And even if Raman and all the other people on the city council are hyper focused on creating more units, which is debatable how many really are going to end up, they're also going to be, if the argument is raised as a safety concern, which it is, and a valid debatable concern, that can be pushed and shouldn't be dropped just in the interest of trying to get harmony, because in the long run we probably won't get that harmony anyway.
Thank you, Michael. All right, Sharon,
Okay, can you hear me now?
we can hear you. We can hear you.
Okay. First of all, addressing the safety, this is a very real concern, but it should be a concern for the whole last year. Why aren't they working? Why isn't Sunswept neighborhood working on evacuation plans now with the city and the fire department? If they had trouble getting out a year ago, the concern is still there, and the actual issue is still there. This project won't be built for another 4 to 6 years. They should be worried today. If there's a fire tomorrow, what are they going to do? Secondly, I am in favor of this project because I think it'll bring jobs. I think it's good for Studio City. I do think the height is a little excessive, but it's not 84 feet along Ventura. It's 84 feet along Valley Heart. There's an 11 to 12 foot difference between Valley Heart and Ventura Boulevard. So it's not the same. And it does include the roof height. And also this is going to bring a lot of jobs to Studio City and Los Angeles, which I think is a good thing. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Sharon. Okay, I don't see any hands. Before I go to board comment, I would like to say all of the comments and suggestions related to the fire hazard and evacuation will be pulled together and eventually, and I don't want to lead this, but into a public safety action by the board. It's going to be indifferent to the Riverwalk. This is going to be across the board and now, not waiting for that project to develop. Because we hear you, we're aware of this, but it's more heightened now. So all the concerns about the fire and evacuation component, rest assured, we're going to attack that, not wait for the project to be built to do something about that. And all of the passion around that, I hope you join us as we set up the right committee to jump on this right away and get some answers to that particular component in parallel with working on this Riverwalk project. And that's my statement for now. Any more hands from the public? Okay, I want to move over to board comment. And
Sharon's got her hand.
What was that?
Sharon had her hand.
Oh,
No,
did-
no.
oh, she did. And Lori, I'll let you go ahead and handle the board comment component. If
Yeah,
there's-
I'll start anyway.
Okay.
Well, I'm going to be, actually, I think what I'd like to do is, well, I'd like to hear from the board first, but ultimately I do want to read some proposed amendments to enhance some things and to add a few little things.
You want to get the board comment first, or would you?
I'd like to hear from the, I think
Let's do the amendments because they may cover some of the comments.
Okay. All right. So the first amendment would be the first sentence. What I propose, I am adding a word. The word I'm adding is conditionally. The sentence is, at this time, the Board of the Studio City Neighborhood Council, SCNC, conditionally supports. So I'm adding the word conditionally. Conditionally supports. That's the first one. The second, I have an enhancement for paragraph. The paragraph wasn't, sorry, hold on a second. Um, well, it's the paragraph about the traffic studies. And I will add that, well, let me just read it and then I'll make a comment about that particular thing. Review existing traffic studies with SCNC and city representatives to take all steps necessary to ensure safe and efficient evacuation due to earthquakes, fires, and other disasters. Examine the cumulative effects of developments at Riverwalk at Studio City Sportsman's Apartments, Harvard Westlake River Park, Sunswept Project, and the Hillside Home south of Ventura Boulevard. Study the Pacific Palisades fire evacuation crisis from Hillside Homes to Sunset Boulevard and Pacific Coast Highway, and the January 2025 fires in Runyon Canyon and on Whitsett. Also, I mean, I would love to see a new traffic study, an actual traffic study that encompasses all of these new developments that the prior study probably didn't have. I haven't, I've been asking for the traffic study for a long time, and I just got it today. I haven't even had a chance to read it, but from what I've been told, it's not very thorough or robust. But I would love to see another traffic study. I just don't know if that's something that we want to demand of the developer. I want to know what the board thinks. I want to know what I'm sure a lot of the public commenters will have weigh in on that again. Okay, the next this is to the let's see, it's to the new paragraph 3. I'm just really adding the preamble sentence. I'm changing the preamble sentence to say, this is my proposal. Require the developer to fund a $1 million incremental investment for new Los Angeles River Greenway parkland amenities, including native plantings, solar lighting, and hardscape enhancements, in addition to the City of LA required Department of Transportation infrastructure improvements. Okay, and then one more. It's the new number 5, because the numbering is changing. Upon approval by the SCNC board, a committee will continue to work with Council District 4 and the developer to finalize details of the community benefits. Let me just make sure I got it all. Yeah, I think I did.
Okay.
That's it.
All right. You want to start
Jerry,
with
Jerry, point of order. We may need a motion to, if that's going to be an amendment.
correct. All right. So we'll have to give public comment first. So Lori, you have those adjustments to the motion?
Well, could I make a motion to amend it and then get
You
public
need-
comment?
Shouldn't there be board comment first?
No, actually public comment first.
We're only amending what you just said to add to the motion.
And then you could further comment.
Right.
There will be comment forthcoming.
Yep. All right.
May I
Is there a-
comment?
No, we need to vote on the amendment.
Okay.
Is there a second?
I have a suggestion for an
Second.
amendment as well.
Well, let's hold on. We have that amendment from Lori. Is yours any in addition to hers or comment on a word?
Yes, yeah. It's in addition.
Lori?
Fine. If yeah, go ahead. But
Without going into a whole lot of comments, since the board hasn't been able to, one thought I had, which I don't like to say we're supporting something where when we really don't want to, nor does the greater community really want it. And my suggestion would be to soften that front end, saying something to the effect of, while the NC and greater community is not in favor of these massive developments, we know that these are being pushed upon us. I know that's bad wording, but I'm just trying to get the thought out, being pushed upon us. And so therefore, we'd like to ask for these various things rather than coming out and saying we support it along with these conditions.
Okay. So I'll leave that up to the Land Use Committee. I know you spent a lot of time on the upfront component of your motion. Do you see a need to make an adjustment, or are you okay with what you have?
Okay, so what Kim is saying is, let me see.
I penciled out something at the beginning of this meeting, and I can read that, a quick sentence. While the NC and greater community does not, in general, support these massive developments forced upon our area, and maybe we want to say something better than forced, but forced upon our area, knowing they will be supported by our mayor and council persons, we would like to ask for the following conditions.
Dean?
Excuse me, Mr. President. The amendment to the motion was second. It is now up for public comment and board consideration. This is an additional amendment, not a re-amendment of the amendment that's already on the floor. Thank you.
You are correct, Scott. And so let's look at the first amendment and go ahead and
Who seconded it? I think Andrew did. Andrew did.
Andrew seconded.
Yeah.
All right. So public comment on the amendment.
Can I make a comment?
Public comment on
the amendment. Yeah.
Yes.
So my name is Heather Myman. I'm on Sunswept. I'm not sure if I'm in the right zone on the amendment, but I'm just referring to what Lori was just talking about demanding a traffic study. Is that where we are?
What I said was what the amendment was. It was what I said was it was just an aside. What I said about, hey, I'd love to demand a traffic study, but here's my amendment. If the board wants to go further, then we'll have a discussion about it.
Well, I think the big issue for all of us here is a traffic study. It doesn't seem like it's asking that much to just throw that in there because, I mean, with 4 developments coming down the pipe here, it's hard to get off our hill. So it's very much related to all the fire issues. So why not demand it?
And the traffic study, we could demand a traffic study. We don't need the Riverwalk project to do so.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Any other public comment? And that's our intent, by the way. Steve.
Yes, I'd like to support Lori's amendments. I think that that's completely appropriate. And I think that getting a little bit murky that we don't support it versus we do support it, I think that we need to make a decision. We're either going to support it with condition, and I think that that's a reasonable way to go.
Thank you, Steve. Let's see. Alex.
Yes, I was very happy to hear Lori's motion. I think it's in the right direction. And I think even though it doesn't satisfy 100% where some of us local residents would like to see in terms of studying both environmental and fire hazard, I think that's definitely the right direction. So I'm glad that at least there's some consent about that. Thank you.
Okay. Next one is Adele.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Hi. I think you're within your rights to ask for a new traffic study. I think that's absolutely what should be done. You should ask for a new traffic study, and that and part of what they're supposed to do, as we know, is look at the cumulative impact of all these different projects, which I think you should also, I think you have that in there, but I think it could be more clear. I would also say you could also require a safety study. And I know that Jerry is saying that you're going to look at this in a bigger context, but when a developer is developing a piece of land, they have to consider what's going on to the neighborhood and how this is going to impact the neighborhood. And if they aren't doing the proper studies, then it's not a properly planned, it's bad planning. And I also think that saying support with conditions actually weakens the neighborhood's case legally, because they can say, oh, well, when we go, if we legally challenge them, which is what I plan to do, and I'm not trying to hide anything, thank you, Scott. I think that we have to get the right information to the community, and we have to ask for it. That's my biggest thing. And I thank you all for all the work you're doing. And I know this is not easy. Thank you.
Thanks, Adele. Next up is Scott Mandel.
Hi, thank you, Jerry. The duty of the SCNC is not to legally support any of the appellants or legally oppose any of the appellants. It's to come up with something that's pragmatic. The judge is not going to say, well, we agree with the appellants, but the SCNC supported or conditionally supported, therefore the appellants lose. That's preposterous. I think conditionally supports is a really good amendment, and it really qualifies the position the SCNC is, to not outright oppose something and wind up with nothing, and conditionally support and have the potential to achieve absolutely fantastic community benefits that were left on the table from the prior opposition to all of the previous land use issues. And as the public comments previously articulated, the situation in those hills is terrible right now. It's unfair to decide to live in a dangerous fire zone with only 2 ways in and out, and then say, well, we chose to live here, and now we don't want anyone building that impacts our ability to be safe. Even if one house catches on fire, we can't get in and out. And we're not going to lobby the city now. We're not going to take measures into our own hands to litigate. We just don't want anything approved. Yet we have these magical numbers of a new density, height, and number of units that seem to work, where you add another 100, 200, 10, 3 more units, and suddenly everybody's unsafe. I think the neighborhood council is doing a great job, and I urge those who support the appellants to also support the neighborhood council. They are separate and distinct, and you'll get what you want by supporting both, not bending the neighborhood council to support your legal appeals. Thank you.
Thank you, Scott. Steve, you already spoke. I think it's Tim Hyde.
I'm not sure I can speak better than Scott did. I do agree that once we choose a place to live and then things start to change, it's kind of unfair for us to say, I don't like this. I chose to live here and this is what's happening on it. And then how do we govern? Whatever's good for me, whatever's the greater good. What did the people in Glendale say when they built the Americana? We don't like it. There's too much traffic. We already have a mall. What's happening now? It's on fire, right? It's doing well. Jones on 3rd. The people that own the 8-unit apartment building behind it filed a lawsuit, and Jones on 3rd couldn't open for a year while they had to fight the lawsuit because the people that own the 8-unit apartment building were afraid of, wait for it, traffic. That's right, traffic. What's their apartment building worth now? And then, to your point about it, did they fix some of the traffic on the street? Finally, yes, it took a while, but we see the diagonal parking spaces. Maybe it should be one way. Nothing's perfect. The traffic study in Paris and London says what? There's traffic. This has all been a impediment to more development. And when they're going to want to build housing and invest all this money and create jobs, let's support them. And conditionally support, I don't think that's bad either.
All right, thank you, Tim. I think, Steve, you put your hand up again, didn't you? Typically, we go.
Yes, I did. Thank you. I'm sorry, but I need to voice our position.
Okay.
It's been insinuated that our association, our neighborhood, has not been taking proactive action to create a safer environment for our neighborhood, and that's far from the truth. It has taken many years for us to even get organized as an association. And in the last year, I think what we've accomplished is amazing. We've been working with Nithya Raman's office. We've been told that funding and budget has been withheld from our community because the roads are in such disrepair, the retention walls are in such disrepair, that it would cost an extreme amount of money to rehabilitate the infrastructure supporting our community. So we are very proactive in this, and I'm sorry that I'm getting angry about it, but I think that the comments that are being made are not being sensitive to us. We do live in this community. We pay the taxes just like everybody else's, and all we are asking is that our communities and our roads are kept up to the same standards as everybody else in the city of Los Angeles. We spoke with the police department. We spoke with the fire department. They're unable to, with the trash and sanitation department, they're unable to get their city services through. So please do not make those comments again until you understand what's really going on in those neighborhoods. Thank you for your attention.
Thanks, Steve, I appreciate your comments. And okay, so I think let's go ahead and go, Lori, let's go to board comment on your amendment.
Okay.
All right,
Yeah.
let's start with Andrew. And Andrew, I know you have a comment on the
My comment's not on the amendment. It's on early comments about an e-blast and what was shared by the neighborhood council. What was put in the e-blast, there's no complicity. What we put out is what we knew at the time. We knew there was a public hearing. We knew there was a land use committee meeting. We knew there was going to be this meeting, and that's all we knew. We didn't have links. We didn't have information. And all we did was point people back to our website, and the website tried to stay as updated as possible. So there's no complicity. That's all.
Thank you, Andrew. All right, Lori, you select the next board member for comment.
Oh, well, okay. Matt's got his hand up.
Matt?
Yeah, thank you. Just wanted to mention, first off, there are empty board seats. So we've got a lot of great interest and people with some great opinions. I highly recommend you join one of those, the board, join the committees to help out. I also want to mention we need more housing. We've got huge homeless problems. We have huge housing problems. We need Studio City to develop, or we're going to be a ghost town. So we need to promote progress. Secondly, on the amendment itself, I think that imposition of $1 million is sort of arbitrary. Like, I think that's like a tax, effectively. I think that's inappropriate to just levy an random $1 million penalty on the development, because it just comes out of nowhere. It's just sort of a non sequitur. So I propose striking that because that's just a tax. But high level, we need more. We need more development, and we need more housing in this area, and to promote economic activity.
Okay, thank you, Matt. Jeff Hartwick.
Yes, one of the earlier commenters said there's craziness, and there is craziness. It's in Sacramento where SB 79 was passed, SB 8. These are all measures signed by one political party, which is in control of the executive and the legislature, and signed by Governor Newsom, and passed these laws, which have effectively taken away our local control to regulate these things, in addition to Mayor Bass's ED1. So that's a problem for us. Our hands are kind of tied. We're an advisory body to the city council, our neighborhood council. And we really have no control over things that have been taken away from us due to the machinations in Sacramento. I agree with the amendments. I agree that certain things need to be addressed, particularly the evacuation plan. We need to make sure that people in this area are safe. But there's not much we can do if we're openly hostile. And believe me, I opposed the Weddington project, the Harvard Westlake project there. I opposed Sportsman's Lodge. We all did, and it really resulted in no benefit that we could get because it was really a done deal. Nithya Raman's office is going to go ahead and approve this because they have very low-income housing as a component of the Riverwalk project. So they can't wait for this to go down. So there's really not much that we can do. However, if we cooperate and ask the developer to do certain things, then we might be able to get certain things for our community, like a community meeting room, or perhaps get some native plants planted along the Riverwalk, solar lighting. So I think
it's better to be, rather than confrontational, to be cooperative and try to see what we can get that's realistic and pragmatic. And my last point is that um, we're not in the business of supporting stakeholders or anti-development organizations' legal position. We're here to listen to the stakeholders, to listen to the evidence at hand, to attend these meetings, to apprise ourselves given all the data that we're provided, and make the right decision. So no, we're just because we're supporting a project, I don't think that legal considerations should be taken into account at all from the neighborhood council perspective. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thanks, Jeff. Okay, by show of hands, which Dean Cutler.
Hi, everyone. I just want to comment on Lori's amendment. So I totally support the amendment, and especially I think it's a great add in light of support or not support and getting hung up on that. We went to great lengths. We did switch. However, I do believe that conditionally supports is a great add, and I commend Lori for adding that. So thank you.
All right, thanks, Dean. Okay, by show of hands, the rest of the board, any comments for any board
I have
member?
one more comment. Yes.
And make sure everyone else went before. Get you a second time, Andrew.
Just one quick comment on the amendment. I do agree. I think, Lori, those are all good fixes. But I do agree with Matt. I think that $1 million number almost feels arbitrary. I don't know if there's a way to work around that. That's just my only comment.
Yeah, I think some thought was put into that one. And Lori, you want to go ahead and share?
Yeah, so two things. First of all, I think it's very important to conditionally support. If we're going to conditionally support it, I don't want to taint it with, although we don't like it, and although the stakeholders don't like it, some of them do, some of them don't. I know a lot of them here don't. I understand it. I wish it was a much smaller project. Believe me, I do. But just considering the totality of the circumstances, the developer is willing to help us out with amenities, and I think we should take it. And regarding the idea that it's a tax or that it's punitive on the developer, well, this developer wants to do some of these amenities. The amenities that we're talking about will cost a lot of money. It'll probably cost more than $1 million, but it will definitely make these apartments and the commercial enterprise much more attractive to have a park right there, basically on the river. On Sunday, Dimitri and Chip and Scott and I, we walked the river. We walked about 1.5 miles, and actually, I think 2 miles each way, and looking at various habitat that's invasive, various habitat that we need to suggestions of to plant new habitat, new native habitat. It can be beautiful. There's a lot, we can build on what's there, but it's extremely expensive. There may be a need for a ramp, which would be very expensive because it would have to be ADA compliant, and that would be from the project onto the river, which would definitely enhance the river. The developer has recently finished a condominium project in Beverly Hills, and it's a much bigger project, and he paid for planting trees along Burton Way and paying for, and Jonathan, if I got this all wrong, please correct me, but also paid for valet parking in Beverly Hills. So really supporting the Beverly Hills commercial community. So this is not a tax. It's not punitive. It's something we should have gotten and should have asked for from Harvard Westlake and from Sportsman's, and we didn't because we just opposed flatly.
But why is it not 10 million? Why is it not $1 billion? Like, it's totally arbitrary.
It's not arbitrary.
All right, let's let Lori have her speak.
It's not arbitrary. It's based on. Chip, do you have any comment on this? Chip's not here.
He's not here.
No, I am. Thank you. Matt, we took a look at the idea of the various projects and did some sort of back of the envelope math as to what that would actually cost. And it comes out to roughly a total like that. or you could achieve the basis of it between the lights, the hardscape infrastructure, which would be
Mhm.
ADA compliant, some planting. A million puts a big dent in it, doesn't finish it, but it's a reasonable start in three areas that are proximate to the project itself. So it's not unreasonable to ask for the capital expenditure adjacent to the project with the assumption that the residents and guests of the project would benefit from that capital expenditure. So it's not completely arbitrary.
Okay. All right. Thank you. I don't think we have any other board
I just
comment.
wanted to add one last thing,
Who's
and
that?
it's Matt. I'm not the administrative expert here, but I heard there was something like if we were not to pass this today, we would basically lose the opportunity to submit anything. So is that true? I just want to highlight, if we do nothing today, the developer completely wins because we can't submit anything.
I
Is
don't
that
think there's a
correct?
case where they win or lose. I think there's a window of opportunity to submit this before the 11th.
Right, but if we don't do it today, we probably will miss that deadline, and then nothing will be submitted. Is that correct?
Well, no, we still have, we could submit once the project is further cemented, and more, this is the time to do it.
Yeah, right. But if you don't do it today, you miss a window for
That's
what, like a
correct.
year or two? Yeah. So
No.
I just want to highlight to the people in the audience that if you stall this too much, you're going to get nothing.
Well, we're trying to get something. We're
Yeah,
trying to
I'm talking to the other attendees who are sort of pushing against it. I'm just saying, if we do nothing tonight, then the developer gets a free slate for 2 years.
All right. Lori?
Yeah, so I think that's it. I mean, my question is,
Okay.
I mean, do we want to ask for actually a new traffic study? Initially, we didn't want to ask for that. I was told that would, by a stakeholder, that would reset the whole process if that had to happen. I don't know how that works. So I'm just,
I don't think this traffic study is something that we have to wait or get Riverwalk to approve for us to go
okay,
after. If I might
okay,
be mistaken, but I don't think they're the an approval path of us going down that route.
okay. Does anyone else have any thoughts on that from the board?
I think we should vote on your amendments as they are.
Hang
Okay.
on one second. Is there any reason not to push for or request a traffic study?
But that's not on the amendments that Lori already read.
I'm well aware of that.
Yeah, I think we need to do a traffic study, not necessarily tied to Riverwalk. We need to do that anyway, period.
Right.
I don't think we need to use
Tie it
Riverwalk.
into this measure,
Right. It's big because
Yeah.
the traffic study is bigger than Riverwalk. It's everything in that area that we need to assess.
Agreed.
Correct.
Okay. All right. So we're gonna vote on this amendment, and then Kim, you had an amendment, well, an additional amendment. I'm not sure if it made a significant change to the one we have now.
Can you just reread it?
What Kim mentioned?
No. We need to vote. We need to vote
Okay.
on the amendment
All
first.
right. Let's vote on the amendment. All right.
Amendment first.
All right. Let's do so. Okay. Starting with Mercy,
Yes.
Sarah,
Yes.
Kim,
Yes.
Dean,
Yes.
Andrew,
Yes.
Dimitri,
Yes.
Jeff,
Yes.
Jerry, yes, Richard, Lori,
Yes.
Matt's muted. Okay, and Richard raised his hand, so that's yes. Jay
Yes.
and Victoria.
Yes.
Okay, the
Oh,
amendment passed.
can you hear me now? Matt's yes.
Okay, thank you, Matt.
Thank you, Matt.
All right, so the motion passed. We heard the public and board comment. I don't think we have any other actions to take on it at this time, but I do want to say from a public safety standpoint, we heard a lot of input and a lot of great ideas around the fire danger and the issue around the evacuation problem in that area. That's bigger than just Riverwalk. And I can expect some of this to be taken up under public safety, Jeff Hartwick, if you want to kind of comment on that, because we have the land use committee component, but I think there's a huge public safety piece that needs to be addressed based on what we heard here. I like
Yeah,
it.
I think an evacuation plan in general for Studio City, particularly up in the hills, is definitely necessary and needs a look. So yeah, I think Public Safety and Homelessness Committee should delve into this and get the appropriate documentation from fire and other entities to see whether A, there exists an adequate plan, and B, whether or not there need to be revisions in the interest of public safety. So yeah, I think it should go through public safety.
Okay.
That's a great idea. I love
So,
it. Yeah.
right. So we'll address that as it pertains to Riverwalk, but also the broader view of the overall fire danger and evacuation plan, whether it exists or not. We need to force the issue of making sure we have something that's tangible that we can use now versus when this project starts or completes. Okay. And I would look forward to many of the Sunswept stakeholders be a part of that effort, given the passion you have about this particular issue. All right.
Jerry, we
Yes.
voted on the amended language. I don't think we voted to support the motion.
Oh, good point. All right. So let's go ahead and do this. All right. The motion is now amended. And Lori, you have the amended copy, correct?
I will send to you and Dimitri, so it gets posted right away and sent. And yes, and we also, Jerry, we may not be able to do it tonight, but I think you need to appoint someone to go to the Planning Commission 8:30 in the morning, June 11th, Wednesday.
Okay. We'll definitely have a representative there for that to speak and present that position with that motion.
Okay.
No doubt about that. Right. So we have the amended motion, and let's do one more round of public comment on the amended motion by raise of hands of the public stakeholders. No hands. Okay. Scott Mandel, your hand is raised.
Hi, thank you. I'm surprised no other hands went up. I just want to reiterate that the Neighborhood Council Board and Land Use Committee, unpaid volunteers that dedicated a tremendous amount of time and effort doing their best to go over the largest land use project development in recent studio history. And we all owe you a debt of gratitude. And I just don't care for the threatening group emails that have gone out criticizing the board as rubber stamping and all these other disparaging remarks. I think it's in poor taste. I think it makes the appellants look bad, and they should support their neighborhood council and support their appeals separate and distinct, and realize that it's not a done deal. See you in court, ramen to the rescue, all failed tactics that got nothing for the community. And this neighborhood council and this land use committee, I applaud them with trying to change the paradigm and do something for the community at their own expense of time and effort. Thank you all. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Scott. Adele?
I just want to say that I do appreciate everything you've done, and I think this is not easy. I still oppose this supporting, but not in a negative way, in a way of getting certain things. I think you're losing an opportunity to ask for a traffic study and to ask for a safety evacuation study. They can do that. They have the money to do that. Now, I want to also point out you're asking for $1 million to improve the Riverwalk, and I'm really appreciative because I really wanted to have that oak and walnut woodland there. That's going to be great. But Bill Wolf, I bought my house from Bill Wolf. Bill Wolf is the owner of Carneys, and he came by and knocked on my door the other day, and he told me that he asked the developer to relocate Carneys, and they said, no, we have no interest. And so they have no interest in relocating Carneys, but they're going to give us $1 million. Really? You think? I mean, you can trust them, and maybe they will. And if Scott is right, and you guys, are doing all this and it works, good. I would be the first one congratulating you. I just think we're missing an opportunity to ask for certain things of the developer that will make Studio City safer and a better place. I think that this could be a stronger motion. I really, really believe that. And I
All right.
think you should think carefully about voting yes.
All right. Thank you, Adele. All right, Chip Meehan.
I believe that, thank you, Jerry. I believe that there is an extensive, although to Catherine's point earlier, well-sourced, that there's a dated emergency plan in the materials put on the website by the developer. And the problem with traffic studies is the traffic studies of years past, which actually focused on real world street level issues don't exist anymore. The Department of Transportation has backed off to sort of this macro urban planning VMT or vehicle miles traveled algorithm, which doesn't do for us what the other studies used to. We learned this during the Radford analysis of their EIR, and we're very disappointed. And in fact, um, it didn't really show to be very helpful when we took a look at that. So there is some traffic and safety stuff in there. We should look at that in greater detail and then go back and see what else we need. Thanks.
Okay. I think that's it for public comment on the new motion. Board comment on the new motion by show of hands. I see Kim.
Yeah, I didn't bring forward my amendment. I won't. I hear what people are saying, and I don't think it would be wanted, which is fine. It was just a thought. But I did want to say to all the people who did email today as well, send those emails on to Council District 4's office about this. As it's been pointed out, there's only so much that we can do. And while I'm not in favor of this kind of development either, not this massive development, I hear people's points as to, well, let's try to work with them because we can't do anything other than that. But I implore everybody who is unhappy with these things, one, send those letters off. Send the same letters you sent to us, just forward it to the council district office, and possibly Jerry is doing that. I don't know, but definitely make your voices heard at the city council meetings, and know who you're voting for. Know what their stand is on all this. So that's all I wanted to mention and try to push through it. It's really important.
Okay.
So this is a great first starting place for people, and we hear you and we do send the information along, but you gotta drive it to the bigger cats too.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you, Kim. I don't see any other hands from any of the members. Raise your hand if a board member comment. I don't see anything going up. All right. All I can say is that based on the feedback from the Sunswept group and everyone else on this project, it's clear to me that the big fight right now for us includes the whole fight around the fire issue and the evacuation plan. Regardless of what it takes to get that done, we need answers as to how we're going to survive if something like that occurs. And I think that should be one of the major pushes of this council the rest of this year, basically. Okay, so let's go ahead and move to a board vote for the amended motion. Anyone want to second that?
Second.
Dimitri. Okay, cool. Mercy,
Yes.
Casera.
Yes, and I do want to thank all of the neighbors of Sunswept for showing up. You've been heard.
Okay, thank you. Kim,
Yes.
Dean,
Yes.
Andrew,
Yes.
Dimitri,
Yes.
Jeff,
Yes.
Jerry, yes. Richard, I see your hand up as a yes. Lori,
Yes.
Matt,
Yes, yes.
Jay,
Yes.
and Victoria.
Yes.
All right, thank you. So the motion passed. We'll get that motion out, and that takes care of everything. This is not a regular board meeting, so we're not going to have a big conversation about matters within the jurisdiction. It's on the agenda, but we can skip that. So thanks everyone for joining, and I really appreciate the stakeholders jumping in. Sharon, you have a message you want to give us?
On the calendar, it says there's a land use meeting Wednesday. Is that still going to happen?
Lori Dean?
I don't think so.
Oh, this, yeah, this.
Then you should.
We'll remove that.
Yeah, and I will send the amended motion to Jerry. I will email it to Jerry and Dimitri right now, in a few minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
So
right, thanks. All right, motion to adjourn. Second. All right. Again, thanks everyone who joined, and I really, really appreciate the stakeholders with civility, really sharing their thoughts, their concerns, and this is not the end of this. Okay.
thank you. And thank you. Yeah, and I really love the idea. Yeah, I think we need to demand to our council member and to DOT and the mayor to have a real evacuation plan for any kind of disaster.
Definitely. That should be top of mind right now.
Taking into consideration, what Studio City is like now.
Exactly.
And not a vehicle miles traveled situation.
All right. Hey, thanks everyone for joining.
One last thank you so much to Land Use for all you did.
Oh, definitely. Land Use
you.
Committee. Great job. Appreciate
Well,
all
I want to
effort.
also thank Scott and Chip. They contributed a lot and have spent time on this as well.
Correct.
The stakeholders, and Sharon has done a tremendous amount as well.
Thank you.
As part of the Land Use Committee.
Thank you. All right. Thanks everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, bye.